Hello ladies and gentlemen, it's ASCII here for Nerf TV. Let's talk about multiplayer in Watch Dogs. Unlike many games, multiplayer is not a separate entity to the rest of the game. It's a seamless 1v1 feature that allows one player to attempt to hack another player with the goal of expanding their network. It works by letting one player enter another player's game completely unannounced. The victim is completely unaware and the hacker has 5 minutes to find them and begin the hack. Once the hack starts, the victim will be notified and given the last known location of the hacker. The hacker themselves will have to try to avoid being spotted and profiled by the player while they are attempting the hack, and this takes about 2 to 3 minutes. The hacker who entered the victim's game will have taken on the appearance of a random civilian from the victim's perspective, but from the hacker's perspective they will still look like Aiden and the victim will look like a civilian. Essentially, as you play the game you will always look like Aiden from your perspective, but others will perceive you as a random civilian. If the victim manages to find the hacker, both players' objectives change. The hack has now failed and the victim must hunt down and kill the hacker, who will now try and run away. The hacker could attempt to fight and kill the person, but they've already failed the mission anyway. If the victim manages to chase down and kill the hacker, or the hacker manages to flee, the hack will definitely completely have failed. So the only way to succeed is to remain undetected during the full hacking period. Once this encounter is finished, the victim of the hack can attempt to get revenge and enter the other player's game, and the mission begins with the players on opposite sides. Essentially, they've created hide and seek with guns. It sounds pretty good, and I love the idea that you never know if someone's watching you. I don't know what kind of punishment death entails, but most likely it's just to cost you a bank balance, but the chase that follows finding the hacker seems a little bit strange. I suppose it's just a matter of revenge, but essentially once you find the hacker it's over. If you kill them or if they run away, the hack has failed anyway, you've already won. In that situation I don't know how many players would actually bother to chase down a fleeing hacker unless there was some further reward. You could also say that from the hacker's perspective, why run? You've already failed, so why not just have a shootout and try to kill your failed victim? I suppose that is something that will depend on how much damage having an encounter like that would do to your reputation and experience for the rest of the game. We saw in the gameplay trailer that the player pulled the other player into an alleyway to avoid any civilian casualties, but still get the kill and revenge. But I wonder if there should be some other bonus or if the devs will purely rely on players acting in an immersive fashion. Now, we don't quite know how the expanding your network works. Perhaps it just gives locations of items throughout the city or insights into their campaign. Perhaps it's just a way to score points for a scoreboard to see who the best hacker is. It's also important to note that you won't just be able to be constantly invaded. There's a firewall system in place. What this means is that at will you can take your firewall down. This will allow other players into your game, but it also allows you to enter the game of other players with their firewalls down. Essentially, if you wanted to play the entire game with your firewall up and never run into another player, you could do that. But if you take it down to invade another player's game, it will remain down for an hour or two. During this time you can be subject to any invasions. This is a really great system. It offers everyone the option without damaging the experience of any player. Essentially, it makes griefing a player who doesn't want to be involved in multiplayer impossible. But it also means that you can't just invade someone's game and then make it so they can't get revenge on you, as you will remain open to attack. The devs do stress that the game is better with the multiplayer, and that it's done in a way that will still feel immersive, but give an unprogrammed and therefore unpredictable nature to the game, and a feeling that you could always be being watched, which is an important undertone throughout the title. Overall, I think it seems like a really good idea. The features that allow it to work are really great, and the immersion and emotions it should induce couple really well with the rest of the game. The firewall system is a great way to stop abuse and a fantastic solution, but what's really special about the multiplayer here is how well it will work with the rest of the game. Creating that feeling of being watched, adding an unpredictable element, and making the city feel even more alive are all things that come from this multiplayer feature, and it's executed really well by the look of it. Perhaps addressing some rewards for catching someone who tried to hack you might be nice, but perhaps it won't be needed and players will just act out of revenge anyway. Let us know what you think of the multiplayer. Think they got it right or want to see more? I've been ASCII here for Nerf TV. Thank you for watching.